I want to speak about a topic which I've spoken about this many, many times, but it's 9 days now, and always try to get into a different lashon. Baruch Hashem, 20 years ago I started this call, and I'm very happy I started, and I got guidance from many, many gedolim. And I had a few goals. Through the years, my goals became more clearly defined. Yeah? And one thing it really bothered me that after learning Shailas and Chuvas from the Chasam Sofer, Rabbi Kiva Eger, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Rav Moshe, seeing how the Gedolei Achronim were magish, how they approached the sugya, right? It wasn't exactly like we learned in yeshiva, right? They were, but it wasn't exactly like just rolling off shitas, which sometimes, today I have what's called pile psak. Some people, there's 20, I wrote this shaila tshuva about baby wipes, and someone said, you can't be makel. It's 89 against 27, like the New York Giants. And so how, so it's pile psak. But I say, yeah, but Ramosha is on the Mekilim, and he's worth 89. So in any event, but to me, that wasn't like real psak. That's not how Hashem wants the shtalshus of Torah and halacha l'maisa to come down to this world. I got into a big disagreement in our last machzor about the Rubik's Cube. I really thought there's no way to be machmer on this. I thought anyone's machmer, it's like really taking halacha to a place where it shouldn't be, to say such chumras. That's what my hargasha was, to learn sugyas be'iyun, to come out halacha l'maisa, through your mahalach and the sugya, through achroas, through proofs from Gemaras, Rishonim, Akronim, right? And that's what I've been trying to do the past 20 years. And Baruch Hashem, I think there's been some level of success. Some of the Talmidim are Rabbanim, some of them are in Chinuch, some went back to got jobs, Baruch Hashem. So, Lamaisa though, but I have another raise on detri. I have another kavana, which to me is even more important than that. Yeah? And this is why when I was originally had this idea to build a base medrash, I wanted to be Al Shem Rav Shlomo Brevda Zatzal, because I was zocher for 18 years to have Rav Shlomo Brevda as a Rebbe. And I don't think a conversation went by, or certainly a shir went by, when he didn't imbue in me, and myself, the importance of the tzibur. The importance of the tzibur. Now I'm going to say this very delicately, because I'm only talking to myself, number one, and number two, we live in a generation where emes nederes. And you won't see this so much, right? It's hidden. It's completely hidden. And whoever's from America, it's mamish hidden. But I was zocher to hear hundreds and hundreds of times from Brevda, and I realized it's in myself. So I'm talking to myself. Whoever wants to listen and thinks maybe they also have some connection to this midah is allowed to listen. So this idea of, now, what does it mean? A ben aliyah. What's a ben aliyah? A ben aliyah, l'chara, everything he does is for aliyah and Torah and Yerushalayim and closeness to Hashem. So seemingly there's a little bit of a contradiction here. You're telling me to mitchashev with the tzibur, but you're telling me to be a ben aliyah. Which is it? Right? Chayecha kodman. B'shvili nevrol. Chayecha kodman. So Lefinis Daiti, from hearing many, many times from Brevda and Rav Chatzkel and other gedolim who I've heard speak about this topic, I think the pshat is like this. Yeah? And we'll speak about maybe halacha l'maisa, how it's going to manifest itself. Right? A person has a very important decision to make. Let's say, their wife needs help every single afternoon. Right? And it could be the family's sick. It could be, they have to do something in the house, very important. It could be this, it could be that. It could be a certain tier, it could be a child. What? Babysit, corona, whatever it is, whatever it might be, right? And so the question is, what is the first thing that you analyze? Yeah, right? Where do you start the analyzation, right? If you start the analyzation with your own needs, I believe you're making a mistake, right? Because a person will generally be tilted to where there's own needs, right? A person is generally karvel atzmo. The first cheshbon I believe you have to make is the cheshbon of the tzibur. How much will impact the tzibur? On a scale from 1 to 10. Yeah? If I'm not here, how will it impact my chivuza? How will it impact the result? Is it pierced together? I must have said this 1,000 times. Rabbi Zriel Auerbach said, don't daven in the minyan in the side room, right? It's 2 reasons. Number 1, because they don't say tachna. Okay, so Rosh Chodesh. But number 2, because it's in the middle of Seder. And even if it's at the end, it's still in the middle of Seder, the last 15 minutes, yeah? And it's a pirza, right? It's better to go and walk 5-10 minutes, because if people start doing that, then everyone's going to start doing it, right? And it becomes, and even then, people, it's more convenient, make a cheshbon, it's a pirza getter. This is a psak from Israel, right? But I've seen this man, quite a few people did it. Yeah, I didn't say anything. Right? I was quiet. But the first thing that has to be done, if it's a Pirtz's getter, you have to be really, really careful. If it's going to affect the tzibur, you have to be so careful. And it has to be something which is like trembling almost, trembling. Because there's the cheshbon of the yochid and cheshbon of the tzibur. If it's going to affect the tzibur, then that's like a davar neira ma'od. Yeah? Rav Yisrael Salanter says, on Aseres Meitshuva, the most important thing is to be connected to the tzibur. Because that's what we have. You can see at Dishmaya, Hashem looks at Klal Yisrael primarily vis-a-vis the tzibur. Okay. And I'll give you a good example, Rav Chatzkel.
What's the answer to the question?
I'm saying the first thing has to be how it will affect the tzibur. And then, once you have that clear, then you have to dan. So how about my own needs? Right? Now it could be, if the need, just one second, let me finish please. If the needs, let's say, if it's going to affect the tzibur minorly, minor, but it's going to affect me majorly, okay, so that's really a cheshbon, okay? Probably it's good to ask someone else, right? Maybe you don't have to ask someone, maybe it's pashut, but that's the way you have to make this chishuv, right? Now to me, like davening that minyan is like, I don't understand, right? There are other minyanim, we have a psak from Israel, don't daven there, it's a Pirtz's getter, it's been said many times, right? So go somewhere else. Okay, you have to walk 5 minutes. You have to go even if it's during Seder. It'll less be a Pirtz to go during Seder, go out, because that's, Rav Israel said that's a Pirtz. Okay. But let's take a case, Rav Chatzkel said. There was a Chanukah Masiba, in Panovich. Let's say there were 100 people there. One guy didn't show up. And he went to learn, right? Singing, like, what's the big deal? Rav Chatzkel, the next morning, he gave this bucker over the head. He said, you were machlish the whole thing. It was purely from the Yetzer Hara and nothing to do with Asmana. Yeah? Because there's a difference between 99 and 100. Yeah? If the whole Sibra is there, it's one thing. If 99% of the Sibra there, it's not the same thing. You were mazik that Sibra, big time, your warning was absolutely useless. Okay? You have to be Chatzkel to say that. Yeah? But a person's making a cheshbon. Yeah? Okay, all year long I'm a masmid. Okay. Maybe there are some people, maybe Rav Yashiv, I don't know who it was, or Scheinberg, when Chavetz Chaim walked into Mir, he didn't get up. Yeah. So Chavetz Chaim said he's going to be a god. He didn't even feel he was there. They are, In Masmidim there's also shaylas. But Rav Chatzkel understood that this bacher who didn't come, he was mazik the tzibur. Like that. A person, the first cheshbon always has to be how it's going to affect the tzibur, because that is the cheshbon klali. Then after that, you take your cheshbon prati and make it. And look, it's very tachan that it'll be. But if you don't look at it that way, right, then you are being blinded by your own needs. Yeah? Now, not to say that your own needs are not important, but in order to make this a fair shaila, you first have to, because once you start looking at your own needs, it becomes really, really hard. Adam Karavetz Latzmo. It's really, really hard to maintain objectivity. I'm telling you from my own. Yeah. And this is what I was taught by the Gedol. Always first see, how will it affect the tzibur? How will it affect the tzibur? This is what we learn about Pirtz's getter. This Shiloh from Rav to do Nikur, right? He's an expert. He's like the biggest world expert in Nikur, right? But the Gzera is not to sell it. If you do it, says Rav you'll be machlish the whole thing. Right? You'll be machlish the whole thing. And that's called Pirtz's getter. Pirtz's getter is the worst thing. And the Chazon Ish writes, by using an umbrella, it's pretty connected, right? You need to carry an umbrella, I know you're allergic to water, you're going to die for it. I don't know what. But he says, if you use an umbrella on Shabbos, is worse than Chilul Shabbos. Because it's Av Shemilsa, and you're destroying Shabbos, right? It's worse than Chilul Shabbos stories. So it's a very, very important stocklist. If people leave this kollel knowing nothing about halakha, and they know this, I'll feel it's accomplishment. If people leave the kollel, being expert poskim, but they don't know this, I have my pick book, because it's hard for me to really believe that someone could be a posik without having a sensitivity in this area, because a posik always has to take that into consideration. How will it affect the tzibur? How do you say it? How do you relay it? Someone told me Shiloh. It was a very easy Shiloh. A lady called up, and he didn't give her the answer right away. He said, call me back, I'll look. He looked into it. It was... Because, how is it going to affect the next? How is it going to affect everyone else? How will it get out? What's going to be said? That's a really critical thing. That's really, really critical. So, this is something which I'm being madgish again and again and again. And especially for people, who want to leave, right? And if it's the right thing to leave, then a person should leave. And I heard, B'ezrat Hashem, a few people are moving on. But this is very, very critical. Before you make any decision, first analyze, and this is the most important part. It's more important than yourself because the Sibur is more important than the Yachid. Yeah? Again, in Hilchos Psak, in Achroa, right, the Yachid's needs have to be taken very, very seriously, especially Shalom Bayis, especially your wife, especially this. But the Sibur as a klal is the most important thing, right? And this is where Sinas Chinam comes from. Because people say, it's me, it's about me, and I'm losing this, and someone hurt me, and someone did this to me, me. Right? They did an observation, the phone company, right? The most commonly used word is I. Just wait 2 more minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, sorry. Okay. So on that note, I'm just asking everybody, think about this. It's the 9 days, right? And one day you'll have to leave the kollel probably. Just think about this, right? Think about, like if you were the Rosh Kollel and you were trying to build a kollel, and how would you want the Yitzhak from the kollel to look? How would you want it to be expressed? And etc. Hatein l'chacham b'yakim. Right? Okay. On that note, I'm going to turn this off now.